It's Mira Business FM. This is The Morning Drive. My name's Tim Elliott. Don't forget, you can find us on the website mirabusiness.fm. Watch, listen on YouTube and Twitch. And you can WhatsApp us as well. I should throw the WhatsApp number in there too. 00971, but it's dead easy, 522-789-567. You can email info@mira.fm. If you missed any of that, because I know what it's like, just search Mira, M-I-R-A, Business FM, and you'll find us. Talking to an entrepreneur right now, and this is a person who is in financial services. She specializes in all kinds of things that there is no hope of me ever understanding: credit write-ups, financial analysis, and cash flow projections, and more. Outside of her day job, she recently founded Bumblebee Food, and she's become one of the 50 most influential businesswomen in the UAE, according to the magazine Financial World. Qadreya Al Awadhi is with me. It's very nice to meet you.
Hi, it's very nice to meet you, and thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. It's good to have you here. And it's an interesting story, yours, but I want to start with your day job, really, because I listed a few things that I really don't understand. But what kinds of things do you do in financial services, first of all?
Sure. So I work in the financial services in the private sector. And it's basically what I've been doing since I was in school, always studying business. I got my master's in international business. So what I do now is, just check up on financial, work within the financial institutions, do credit write-ups. Mm-hmm. And one of the interesting things that I'm also doing now is I just got accepted into this program sponsored by the Central Bank and the Federal Youth Authority, where I get to be an official financial advisor after I'm done. So hopefully I'll be done by the end of year, and then I get to, make recommendations on, for example, where to put your money, to put it in stocks, to put it in bonds, real estate. And yeah, it's just numbers all day, every day.
Okay. Was that what you always wanted to do? Was that always your thing, numbers? Was that the way your kind of your mind works?
To be honest, when I was a kid, I didn't really exactly know what I wanted to do. I wanted to do a lot of things. But then I remember my dad, he was telling me, okay, why not do business so that you can get into the industry that you want, but just work at the business part of it. For example, I had that phase, I think a lot of us had it when we were watching Grey's Anatomy. We were all about being doctors. Yeah. So I definitely wanted to become a doctor for a while. And then Dr. House also came along. I was watching that. So I wanted to saying, my dad, become a doctor. He's like, just study business, okay? Then you can go work at the accounting and the hospital and, do what you want there. And that was good advice because, I changed what I wanted to do every couple of years. So I just stuck with it and I became good at it.
It's a hard thing, isn't it, when you're trying to really work out what you're good at. And I think the best advice I ever got was do what you like, do what you love to do. And but until you really work out which is the specific thing that you really love, it's kind of a hard thing. So business is a really good grounding, I guess. So you're in financial services by day, Qadreya, but you're really here to talk about your venture, which is Bumblebee Food. So I'm struggling to make the connection between the business side, aside from running a business, but you're now doing your own thing. So how do you get from financial services to Bumblebee?
Sure. Actually, I like to cook. I love food. I love eating it. I love cooking it. So I always wanted to open like a restaurant. But then, just before COVID, my friend, she had a baby and then COVID hit. So I was babysitting that baby. And, I was, because she was a doctor. So I was babysitting that baby and I was feeding him, the pouches from the supermarket. Yeah. And I noticed that when I turned it around, the production date was produced before he was even born. It was produced 7 months ago, and the baby was just turning 5 months. It was just 5 months. And I thought, oh my God, how can I feed him something older than him? And then I started making him, my own food that I used to make, and he loved it. And then when COVID really hit and everyone was at home, my friends knew about it. I was talking to it, and I started sending them, and then there was like a COVID baby boom. So that also helped a lot. So basically that was it. It was just pure luck. I didn't even intend. I wasn't even thinking about kids or anything like that, or kids' food. it was just pure luck that I was babysitting this kid. And then, of course, what helped, was the number and the business background that helped it turn it into a business.
Well, you see, that's what's interesting to me because, okay, so now I can see how you got there. But most people, whether they have their own children or they're babysitting kids, wouldn't necessarily leap into, scaling it in that way, turning it into a business. I mean, you'd make a load and maybe put it in ice cube trays, freeze it, and then, use it later on. It's probably healthier. I understand that. But you clearly decided, no, there's something in your brain that makes you think, right, I could make a business of this. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, you're the first person in the Emirates doing this, is that right?
I'm the first to do frozen baby food, correct?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And it was just something you thought, it was clear to you, I guess.
Yeah, it was. I mean, when I saw that, there really wasn't any baby food available at the time. There was, I think, one that was just making like some sort of fresh baby food, but it was new. But there was no one. And, during COVID, where, we all had to get permission to leave the house, having it frozen was just perfect because you could just store it in the freezer whenever you'd want and just take it and heat it, that's it. So that seemed like a perfect idea, to help with the working moms, especially, during COVID, or doctors or anything like that. So that's how it came along. And I thought, what, there is a gap in the market for something for babies. And I love that baby so much. And I thought, what, the way that I love the boy, every parent should get that treatment, and they shouldn't really miss out on getting healthy food just because, for example, they don't have time or just because they're working. So I wanted to take that off their plate.
There's something really satisfying. Well, I've got two kids. They're much older now, but there was something, and it's something that sticks with you, and I can see it's with you now. There's something very satisfying about feeding a child and, nurturing a child in that way. Something about offering food to people that there's a love connection there, I guess. So your tagline is "Eat smart from the start," which I like a lot, and I think that provides a really good basis. What kinds of things are you preparing? I know it's done with the nutritionist, but what are the elements there that we need to consider?
So actually, when I first started, it was with a nutritionist, but now I am finishing my studies to become a pediatric nutritionist.
You're doing that as well?
Yeah, I know. It's a lot of things I'm doing,
Have you got more hours in your day than the rest of us?
I guess.
Okay.
So I'm also doing that. Hopefully I'll finish by January, and then I can officially be, a pediatric nutrition consultant.
Okay.
Because, for the nutritionist, I'd have to go to medical school. So it's more like a consultant thing. But anyway, the earlier nutritionist, her name was Yasmin Haddad from my pediatric clinic. She really helped, and she even corrected a lot of misconceptions I had, because when we were kids, we just eat like vegetables or some fruits. But she said, no, you should introduce meat even at 6 months, introduce meat, introduce fats, introduce all of those things. And that really opened, I guess, my horizon to baby nutrition. And I started reading up on it. And for example, now we pretty much offer everything. We're not like, oh, don't offer this, don't do this. Like, for example, butter. It gets such a bad rep. But those healthy fats, they're really good for the brain development of the baby, especially in the first 2-3 years. It's really good for them. Just like olive oil, just like avocado. Those are all healthy fats, for the baby, especially for the brain to actually grow.
Okay. What about sugar? I mean...
So our food doesn't have any sugar or any salt.
None at all?
None at all.
Okay.
So we use, natural source. Like, for example, instead of sugar, we use honey, but small doses of it. But it's still better, than the synthetic sugars that we adults use all the time.
Okay.
We use apples, maybe, some dates, all natural sweeteners. And for salt, we just, using... I'll just add one more thing. I'm officially actually an accredited chef. So I have my certifications.
I genuinely think you've got a 48-hour day. The rest of us have 24. So you're a chef as well?
Yeah, I got my accreditation in 2022. I officially became like level 2 certified chef.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I'm learning some stuff about you. But I mean, the point of all this is you can do all of these things, and that's great because it's all under your banner. So I guess when you're running a business like yours, that's about control and making sure that your product is the way that you want it to be. And you gain trust, I suppose, from that. But the other side of this is you're changing habits. You want kids to eat the right way. You want them to build a really healthy, kind of sustainable approach to food.
Sure. Yes, of course, because even our government launched a national strategy for well-being. I think it was 2031. And, one of those things is ensuring that the citizens are healthy. And we believe we do that by tagging them when they're young, right? That's why we say eat smart from the start. Is that, when they're babies, you feed them those things, like you feed them the butter, you feed them foods without salt and without sugar, so that even when they grow up, they don't have those cravings for McDonald's, they don't have those cravings for those salty foods, because studies have shown that there is a direct correlation between introducing early salt to childhood obesity. And as we know, childhood obesity often carries into adulthood because it's hard to, shed off the pounds if you have it when you were very young. So that's why we try to educate parents, on healthier alternatives. For instance, instead of going for McDonald's, we show them how to make your own chicken nuggets that's, just as delicious.
Okay, how are you doing with that? Because, it's hard. It's hard to kind of educate people en masse, I suppose. People are looking for better ways forward. We're more aware than we ever were, but, fast food is everywhere, and convenience is the other side of this. How are you doing with that aspect of the business?
Oh, it was really hard in the beginning because, when I was feeding the kids, for example, at least in everyone I know, what they do is, like curries, we have, like, for example, butter chicken or like beef curry. What they do is they would scoop like a spoon of the sauce, put it on the white rice, mash it and feed that to the baby. And the thing is, this curry is filled with, like vegetable oil, with salt, with, like, for example, tomato paste, which also has sugar. So then the baby, when he's really, really small, he's used to like sugar and salt. And that's not really good because it builds those, bad habits.
Yeah.
So we tell parents that, okay, even if we don't want to buy from us, that's fine. Just make sure that you make it fresh. And it doesn't really take a lot of time. What you can do is, make it ahead of time, earlier in the week, like batch cooking, meal planning. Those things, I know they take time, but your kid will thank you, in the future. And some of the kids that I have kept in track, with almost like 5 years now, can you imagine that they actually don't like to eat chocolate? Like I swear, I know it's crazy, right? His idea of a treat is raisins. He loves raisins. That's like his idea of a treat. So when I try to give him chocolate, granted, I do give dark chocolate, so it's a bit more bitter, but he's like, I don't like it.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
This is the thing, isn't it? So your Eat Smart from the start thing clearly has legs. I used to go around the supermarket when my daughter was, I don't know, 2, she was sat in the front of the trolley. I used to, in order to keep her quiet, to keep her happy, I'd get a carrot and just scrape the outside, and she'd sit quite happily eating carrots. That has translated, she's now 19, and that's kind of still her thing. She's not sat in the supermarket trolley, that would be strange, but she's still into raw vegetables. And I think you're right, that happens with a lot of, it's there, isn't it? This is the thing, so your venture is a first of its kind venture. You have kind of a prime mover advantage in a way, I suppose. And this is a business that has legs because people are not going to stop having babies, are they? So you must be looking to the future and thinking, I'm going to introduce this flavor and I want to do this next. What kinds of things are you looking at?
Sure. So as you know, the population of the UAE is growing and it's projected to keep growing for the short to medium term. So with that come people from, all around the world, not just, locals. So we also expand our menu offerings in terms of what we offer. So we're trying to offer more international cuisine. Not that before we didn't offer it, but it's just more a bit, now we're going to launch sometime in December, I think, or January. We're doing around the world cuisine. So every month we're going to focus on, like, for example, on a continent. Like we're doing like Asian food, for the babies. And then we're doing European food. We're doing British food, which I'm so excited about because babies actually love it. Shepherd's pie, cottage pie. Kids love that.
Do you know what? Yeah. Shepherd's pie is a thing. And also, I guess, easy. It's texture-wise, it's easy to eat, isn't it? Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. And that's what babies need, I suppose.
Exactly. So we're doing that and, we evolve with our customers. So I remember before we only used to offer baby food. So it was just a puree. And then the parents told us, okay, offer something for my toddler, like pancakes, those kind of things. And we did offer them on the menu. And those are all frozen because that's the core of our business. But now they said, oh, we want some snacks, for the day. And that's when we started to expand to dry snacks. So we also offer some cookies, some biscuits, some crackers. And of course, they don't have any salt or sugar on it. They don't have any of the additives or preservatives. So those were complete hit when we launched them. And we wanted to do something even more crazy and more, out there. And we launched the first bone broth cookies in the world, and we did it in collaboration with the Broth Lab. So it's the first in the world for kids, just to clarify. And it's really, really nice. It was such a hit. We put bone broth in the biscuits. You don't really feel it because, of the way we cook it. But it's the most nutritious cookie you'll ever find in the market because it's rich in protein and iron and, vitamins and minerals and all those things that you want your kid to have.
Well, bone broth is like the superfood of the moment, isn't it? So I love that. When you started, what kinds of things you were offering, and how do you offer this to people? I mean, I have to admit, I'm a little bit kind of behind on baby foods these days. That's not the aisle I'm in the supermarket. But is it? Are you a subscription-based model? Is that how you started? Are you, packaging in supermarkets? Tell me.
Sure. So we used to be a subscription, but now we stopped. We usually stop by end of year because we reprioritize in terms of internally. So we just sell them like one, and we'd have the bundles anyway. Like for example, a 1 week bundle, or like for example, we have now that we developed with a nutritionist. Like for example, one to boost your iron, one to boost your immunity. Like a bundle pack with foods that specifically work on those things, or like a dairy-free pack. So those are what we offer right now. We've expanded now. We actually won the Spinnis Incubator program. So hopefully we're going to be in Spinnis very soon. You're going to see our cookies there, our biscuits there.
Okay.
And from that, hopefully we're also talking to other supermarkets. And yeah, you're going to see us hopefully in a lot of places. But at the moment, we're also in play areas because we sell exclusively on our website. But our cookies, you'll find them in some play areas around the UAE.
There's some joined up thinking going on here for sure. And one of the things that I guess you should be proud of is your experience in the Shark Tank. I wanted to ask you about that because I know you were selected by all 4 of the sharks, and eventually you went with 3, which is an achievement in and of itself. It must have felt kind of good. What was the TV experience like?
Sure. So actually, when I got the message, at first I thought, okay, they're messing with me. Because they said, oh, you're like, hi, it's Shark Tank, and we're reaching out. And I didn't find anything about it, on the internet, the Shark Tank is coming. So I thought, okay, I'll just ignore it. And then a while later, they kept calling, and they found my phone number.
Right.
And I said, how did you find my phone number? And they said, because we're legitimate. And I thought, oh, okay, makes sense.
And you're just looking at your mobile going, no, go away, leave me alone, put the phone down.
Because, I get a lot of those requests, every now and then. So I'm not sure what's a scam and what's not.
Okay.
So this, was authentic, and I was so happy. And then they said, okay, it has to be in Arabic. So of course, I'm a Marathi, and that's not an issue. But I think that I wasn't so confident to completely, give the pitch in Arabic on the TV. But nonetheless, I practiced. I, wrote the pitch down, and I memorized it for like 10 days. I'm like memorizing the pitch.
Well, that's interesting. So would you find it easier to pitch in English than in Arabic?
Just because I've done so much of like the interviews and everything in English.
Right.
So
okay.
I know the, like for example, like macronutrition, I know those antioxidants, minerals, all of those things I can.
All the terms.
Exactly. All those terms
right.
I can, easily just say them in English, but then in Arabic, I'd have to just think for a moment, okay, what's that? Which one is that? Just that. So then, we went ahead, and on the day, we were in Dubai because it was by Dubai TV. So we, went to the studio and just went in, gave the pitch, and they were asking, the sharks were asking like some questions, like, okay, how much, do you value your business? And I answered almost all of their questions, and they really liked it actually. And I got offers from 4 of them, and then Faisal, I believe he made a different offer. He said, I'll make a joint offer for the 3 of us with Noor, with Mira, and myself for to come to this business together. So I thought, okay, 3 is perfect. I don't have to choose.
Good for you.
Yeah.
And you got some funding and moved ahead. So, look, we've got about a minute left. There's a couple of things I want to ask you. But, obviously, you have a day job in financial services, so you're pretty busy. You're trying to grow a business. Where would you like to see Bumblebee in the short, medium term?
I think for the short term, I'd definitely like to see it in more stores, more retailers across the UAE. In the medium term, hopefully, in the GCC, because I know there is a market for it, and we've been asked a few times. But for me, I will say, let me just do the UAE first. Let me focus on my country first before I go outside, before I expand, outside. So those are my plans. And at the moment, we're also just working closely with a lot of schools, with some events, some parents meeting, again, just to educate parents on the importance of healthy eating from the start.
I love it. It's such a great story. Qadreya Al Awadhi is the founder of Bumblebee Food. She's in financial services by day and getting us to eat smart from the start by night, or in the rest of the other 48 hours she seems to have in a day. It's great to meet you. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's Mira Business FM.
Mira Business FM.